everybody, this is Isaac here, and welcome to the very first episode of 30 In here on Prism. Now, what I want to do quickly before we get into the game is I want to just introduce you to what 30 In is. Now, 30 In is going to be a series we'll be running on this channel that will be going into the first 30 minutes of games. These can be indie games, these can be blockbuster games, any game. And we'll just literally go through the first 30 minutes so you guys at home can get a feel for what the games are like. Now today we're going to be playing through Dear Esther. This is an indie game by the Chinese Room and is a narrative game, so it's no action, you're just walking around taking in the amazing atmosphere, and it is one of the greatest indie games I have played, and I love it. It is my favourite. So yeah, this is what we're going to be playing. Hopefully you can enjoy this, and what we're going to do is we're going to get started. So let's head back to the main menu, click start, and we'll go from the lighthouse and see how far we get into the game. So let's start here, and I will start my timer right now. Okay, so we have 30 minutes to get as far into this game as we can.
I sometimes feel as if I've given birth to this island. Somewhere between the longitude and latitude, a split opened up, and it beached remotely here. No matter how hard I correlate, it remains a singularity, an alpha point in my life that refuses all hypotheses. I return each time leaving fresh markers that I hope, in the full glare of my hopelessness, will have blossomed into fresh insight in the interlude.
Now, something I should point out is you can't jump. I think you can crouch. Nope, apparently you can't even crouch on this. And your flashlight automatically turns on. So you can literally only move, and that's it. So this game is a very atmospheric one. It is so in-depth. You can probably tell I love this game, and I actually love this game that much that Prism are currently doing a giveaway of Dear Esther, and you'll be able to find a link in the description to that giveaway where you can enter it and hopefully win this game. So something that you notice quite a lot is there's chemical symbols dotted around the place. Now I believe this is the chemical symbol for ethanol. If my chemistry is up to scratch, I haven't done A-level chemistry for over a year now, so not too sure if that definitely is. Wasn't my greatest subject. But yeah, you can see loads of stuff like this dotted around, loads of scientific references, and with the game you just sort of start to piece together a lot of stuff through what you see, what you hear, and it is a very, very immersive experience. You kind of have to make up your own assumptions as to what the actual things are going on in the island mean, you know. Why are you here? Like, what's happening? What is this place? Is it purgatory? You know, it's a very, very, very cool thing indeed. So what we're going to do is we'll head up there in a little bit. I think we should go along the coastline first. Let's have a little look around at what's out here. I think the graphics on this game are really, really good. At least the texture quality. I mean, it's a bit pixelated and stuff, but when you're looking at it like here, the environment just looks really, really beautiful. It is... What can I say? I love this game far too much. I've played through it so many times now, and every time I play through it I notice things I haven't before and piece together a bit more towards what could it be, what could be going on here. And it's always really, really nice to just, if you, like for me, if I want to relax, I tend to come and just play this game because it's quite a relaxing game to play, as you're just walking around taking in the beauty, the atmosphere, and everything that's going on. I mean, so far there's been nothing along this beach just yet that we sort of really need to look at. There's a green Coca-Cola can. Don't know why it's green. but there's a green one there, you know. They do have a lot of little bits of detail like that here. But the main things you want to sort of look at with this game
At night,
is...
sometimes from a passing tanker or trawler. From up on the cliffs they are mundane. Down here, they fugue into ambiguity. For instance, I cannot readily tell if they belong above or below the waves. The distinction now seems banal. Why not everything and all at once? There's nothing better to do here than indulge in contradictions whilst waiting for the fabric of life to unravel.
It's like we've got this here, I can't remember the term of it, but it's a mathematical reference. It's like all seashells are perfect to this. It's a purely natural thing. It's where you have squares inside of squares inside of squares building up. And if you spiral from corner to corner as you go up in the size of the square, it makes a perfect spiral shape. And that's how all like seashells are based upon. Snail shells, everything like that. It's quite good. Oh, it's killing me. I can't remember what the name is, but it's really interesting. It's like, what does that mean? I've played this game so many times and I still don't know what this is meant to reference.
Under a stash of paint cans. It tells me that along with this present cargo, there was a large quantity of antacid yogurt bound for the European market. It must have washed out to sea. God knows there are no longer gulls or goats here to eat it.
So I'm not too sure what that little painting's meant to be either. Okay, so yeah, what we need to do is, I think we should head back along the beachfront, and we'll go up these steps that we went past a second ago, see where they lead us, and hopefully it takes us back to the bit where we're at near the lighthouse when we could have gone up those at the top of the cliff face area. So I think that's where we'll probably end up going. I mean, there's lines like carved into that cliff up there. I'm not too sure what they mean. I think he does explain it though. Can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, let's continue going. Now, I'm going to go silent quite a lot in this game just so you can sort of take in the atmosphere and get a feel for what's going on. Yeah, let's head up here. Some really, really sick views coming across there. With islands off in the distance. And yes, it does bring us up here. I think you're actually meant to fall down there when you come across here. And let's continue back up.
The mount is clearly the focal point of this landscape. It almost appears so well placed as to be artificial. I find myself easily slipping into the delusional state of ascribing purpose, deliberate motive to everything here. Was this island formed during the moment of impact? When we were torn loose from our moorings, and the seatbelts cut motorway lanes into our chests and shoulders, did it first break surface then?
It's stuff like that that sort of makes me think this is something like purgatory, because seatbelts crashing. We saw ethanol earlier.
So ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice. They cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the main boat, fishing boat, and notice and aid, or impose a cordon of protection. Wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this. Keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply for the flesh.
As I was saying, the references we've seen already to ethanol and how he's just mentioned seatbelts digging into you in a crash, it sort of makes me think he was probably drink driving and crashed the car and ended up in purgatory or something along those lines. It does seem like it's quite a likely situation.
We are not like lots of life, you and I. We feel no particular need to turn back. There's nothing to be seen if we did. No tired old man parting the cliffs with his arms. No gifts or Bibles laid out on the sand for the taking. No tides turning or shrieking gulls overhead. The bones of the hermit are no longer laid out for the taking. I have stolen them away to the guts of this island, where the passages all run to black, and where we can light each other's faces by their strange luminescence.
So what sort of thoughts are, who's this Lot? Who's his wife? And this is stuff that sort of gets developed throughout the story here, and it's stuff we start to actually learn about as we go along. We're coming down here. We're actually round the back of the lighthouse now, and ship over there that's crashed.
I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton, who drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
So where's the static coming from? Is it coming from the ship?
I would leave you presents outside your retreat in this interim space between cliff and beach. I would leave you loaves and fishes, but the fish stocks have been depleted and I've run out of bread. I would row you back to your homeland in a bottomless boat, but I fear we would both be driven mad by the chatter of the sea creatures.
So what this is here, this is a neuron. It's the biological symbol for the neuron. And up here, this is again, it's the ethanol symbol, but it's got the neurons sort of sticking out of that, sort of making me think that the alcohol's affecting his brain, because your brain has neurons in it. Then up here, no idea what that looks, what that's meant to be. It's quite confusing. Then we have a lot more of these neurony sort of looking parts, and that looks like a map of the nervous system. And there's a load of very weird paintings just dotted around everywhere. So, what was that all about? Sort of spooks me out, man. Okay, one thing you can't do in this game is swim, so I'm not going to attempt to swim over there. We'll just carry on following the pathway here. Now, another really great feature of this game that I've noticed so far is the music. It's quite repetitive because it's the same thing pretty much played all the time, but it just sets a theme. It gets you thinking, it gets you relaxing and wanting to find out what's happening here. And this game is really, really deeply immersive. You're probably getting annoyed with me for the amount of times I've stressed this, but it is exceptional.
The vegetation here has fossilized from the roots up. To think they once grazed animals here, the remnants of occupation being evidence to that. It is all sick to death. The water is too polluted for the fish, the sky is too thin for the birds, and the soil is cut with the bones of hermits and shepherds. I've heard it said that human ashes make great fertilizer, that we could sow a forest from all that is left of your cliffs and ribcage, with enough left over to thicken the air and repopulate the land.
Some really deep stuff as well on this narrative. So a quick look down here. That's where the drop is down into the cliff that we were at earlier. So we'll look around these stones. See if there's any details on there. So this is another chemical. I'm not too sure what it is. The way it's got any, what does that represent? This is something that just, it gets you thinking. It's stuff you sort of want to research up as well. At least I do, but I'm a bit sad like that when it comes to this style of game. It's something I really do get deeply immersed into. Just wondering, can we get up here? And I've never tried to go up here. I've just always gone down there when I've played this. But are we able to get up here? Are we able to travel further? You know, I'd love to be able to just travel further than this and go and look more around this island. You see here we sort of come to a kind of limit on getting up this cliff, and we can't even get up any further than this. So no, I don't think we can get up there. So what we'll do is we'll head through that gap in front and go on from there. Now we're approximately halfway through now, just at around 14-minute mark. So what we'll be able to do is most likely get through the second mission, which will be around half of the game shown to you in this time. And I really do recommend that you go and apply for our giveaway, or enter our giveaway, as there's a lot of good stuff in this game. Good stuff in us. What does that even mean? But no, there's I do highly recommend that people play this game, because, as I said, it is one of the most amazing stories I have ever seen being told within a game.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my ordnance survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off to Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
It's like, pull ashore? You're in a car. What? This game is a very confusing one. And there's always stuff you miss. Yeah, I think if we just continue heading along this little rock area here and see where this takes us. I wonder what's around near those ships down there. Again, some really nice views. And is that a person? Right there next to the rock, it looks like the silhouette of a person. And that's something I've always spotted in this game every now and then, is just the sort of outline of a person. It is
An imagined answer
confusing. Is this
the tires are flat
in his imagination?
loosely, and the brake fluid has run like ink over this map, staining the landmarks and rendering the coastline mute, compromised. Where you saw galaxies, I saw only bruises cut into the cliff by my lack of sobriety.
So there was definitely a silhouette of a person standing around here. And if you're not watching this in full screen, you should, else you're gonna miss some weird little bits like that. Okay, what's down here? Is there any markings in the sand? Any paint on the walls? I can't see any markings yet around here. So like, I feel as though this stuff's just more here for setting an atmosphere. Like this island, as you keep saying, is deadly. There's no life on it. There's wreckages everywhere. The plants and all the foliage is fossilizing, as he said. It's as though this place can't sustain life and doesn't want to. And that's another reason why it makes me think, is this purgatory? Because purgatory is a place that doesn't sustain life or want to. Aha, there's writing here.
There must be a hole on the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
What does that say? Neither did he eat nor drink. Neither did he eat nor drink. And this looks like it's a something to do with physics, because I believe that's the symbol for a resistor, and up there is a diode. So what does that mean? These are all the questions that you'll be asking yourself when you're playing this game. It's very... I don't want to say the word again, so I'll save you the pain of me saying it again. Let's just continue walking up here and...
You visited me in the hospital after the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic. Your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the carve of a drum.
So yes, he definitely did. That's just confirmed it. He definitely crashed his car. What's around this area here? This is some...
What charnel house lies at the foot of this abyss? How many dead shepherds could fill this hole?
It's a giant pit. Let's just continue walking around. There doesn't seem to be much over there. I actually think that pit may be where we're meant to go, but I want to have a look up here and see what's around the rest of this cliff area before we do that. In case I've missed something previously. Aha, no, you're not meant to go into that pit. You're meant to come around here. Now, I should let you know that this is my first time playing the game in about half a year.
Begun to climb, away from the sea and towards the centre. It is a straight line to the summit, where the evening begins to coil around the aerial and squeeze the signals into early silence. The bothy squats against the mount to avoid the gaze of the aerial. I too will creep under the island like an animal and approach it from the northern shore.
But what's this place all about? These look like there were once houses here, or encampments. And these logs, they marked pathways. So is he on some sort of pilgrimage? I don't know.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jacobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There's no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
Again, what does this mean? This is all stuff that we need to find out. Or is it just there merely as a distraction to make you think of things when in fact the storyline is something else?
Three cormorants seen at dusk. They did not land. This house built of stone, built by a long dead shepherd. Contents: my camp bed, a stove, table, chairs, my clothes, my books. The caves that score out the belly of this island, leaving it famished. My limbs and belly famished. This skin, these organs, this failing eyesight. When the battery runs out in my torch, I will descend into the caves and follow only the phosphorescence home.
Let's continue on our path towards that cave. See, look, there's a light. Can you see the light glowing? And a sort of faint silhouette next to that. As though someone stood there holding a torch, guiding us on our way. It's crazy, really. Well, that's definitely moving. That definitely moved. They've gone up into the caves. Is that Esther? Is this the guy he's trying to find? Is Esther trying to guide him from purgatory back to back to life? You know, back to life, or is he just trying to help him leave purgatory? Is it his time to go up to heaven or hell? Where is he going? Where is he leading him?
They told Donnelly was deformed, the result of some birth defect or perhaps a traumatic injury as a child. Brittle and overblown it was, and desperately light. Perhaps it was this that finally did for him, unable to contain the shattering of his heart. In half-light, his skeleton of discarded prop, a false and calcified seabird.
They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. All around him small flowers were reaching for the weak sun. The goats had adjusted happily to life without a shepherd and were grazing freely about the valley. Donnelly reports they hurled the body in fear and disgust down the shaft, but I cannot corroborate this story.
Here we go again, some more wrecked boats, but this time it looks like rib cages a way of design it, which matches the story that's just being told, where they're deformed because they're broken rib cages. This is truly a powerful, powerful game. And I believe we should go into that cave, but
I slipped and
let's see what's down here
injured my
first.
leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Is this where he fell? Slip down here. There's books. There's... What is that? A Hebridean history. That's all that was in there. Those books. So we have literally 40 seconds left of today's episode of 30 In. And can I just say, I have extremely enjoyed playing some more Dear Esther after such a long time of me not playing it. 6 months was the last time I played it. I only just reinstalled it in my computer. I haven't played it since I got this computer, so it has definitely been a long time. And the final little bit we're in is here at the very end of the second mission, I believe. Let's just walk a bit further forward. And here we go. Into the final descent. And thank you so much for watching this episode of 30 In, where we have been looking at Dear Esther, a very good indie game. Do not forget, we've got a giveaway of this going on right now, and I hope you do give it a try because it is such a good game. Alright, please don't forget to check out all of our links down in the description. They go to all of our social media and our website, where you can find loads of articles on gaming, science, technology and culture. Alright, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time. Bye.